Hi, I'm Sam, and this is Sam Says. Today I'm going to be showing you the Go7 gaming insert for Gloomhaven. This is a giant game and requires a giant insert. So go ahead and watch the following clip, and I'll show you how it all fits in the box. Alright, so we are looking at the Gloomhaven insert for Go7 Gaming. As you can see, I only have 3 map tiles there. I have all the map tiles actually in a different type of storage solution, which I'll talk about a little bit later on in the video. But as you can see, this is the 2nd edition game, so you've got those XP and health trackers that only come in the 2nd edition. This insert does do both 2nd and 1st editions. That little thing there with the character sheets, that holds your party sheet as well as your character sheets in that box. Here you've got the traps and some monster standees, while the bosses, everything is labeled right there, which is super nice. You've got a bunch of terrain tiles here. Everything is labeled, so you've actually got the front and backs labeled there. 2 monster compendiums, so all the monsters fit in there very nicely. Everything is labeled. Those tile keys make pulling things out of the insert actually very easy. It's kind of brilliant that they put those in there, because without those tile keys, it would actually be much more difficult to get some of the tiles out. So very smart by Go7 Gaming to be able to put that in there. Everything as far as Go7 Gaming, it's all their inserts look very similar as far as the type of wood that they use and some of their design aspects, but it all stores in here very well. All of those boxes that you see kind of lined up, those are all for characters. So it'll show you the character tray a little bit on. On the right hand side, those are the monster cards, the small monster cards for what they do. And this is a character box, so you've got your sheet, I guess, at the top, and then you can hold your item cards there as well as your modifier deck. Welcome back. So I want to make a couple of notes on that video before I continue on and tell you about the insert. First of all, you notice that I did not have any map tiles stored in my game box. That's simply because I didn't want to go through and organize them to be able to fit them on top. They can fit on top, I promise you. But it's kind of a pain because just like every other insert on the market, you have to kind of puzzle them together. I actually use a different system to be able to store my map tiles regardless of what insert I'm using. And that is, I use one of these accordion folders. And I label on the numbers, and then I can just look on it and say, oh, okay, I need N, bam, there you go. So that's how I store them. That's why you didn't see them on there, because they're kind of a pain. The only ones that didn't fit are, I think, the H tiles, the big T's, so that's what I put in there. Additionally, there is an optional buy when you buy this insert where you can actually have a top tray where you keep your rule book and your map tiles. And that is right here. If you do use the tray, it does cause the lid to go up just a little bit from the bottom of the box. If you don't use the tray, the lid will go down flush. So, just an option that you have if you would like. Also, on the video, as I was pulling some of these trays out, I went off screen and pulled the lids off. That's because these lids are very tight. They're quite secure. I don't know if that's just because of the way that I built it or if they're built to be that way, but they are very tight. You can open them. It was just difficult for me because I was holding it under the camera and I needed a little bit more leverage. So with that being said, let's start talking about the insert itself. Wow. There are a lot of things that I really like about this insert. So many things I don't even know where to start. There's actually very little that I don't like about this insert, which I tend to give, I feel, critical but fair reviews. Everything in this game is labeled. I mean, everything. And I am a huge fan of labeling. I love the labeling. Love it. A lot of the other inserts have not labeled these card dividers. So he's actually gone through, Bobby Griggs from Go7 Gaming has labeled all of these little card dividers. It's so small you probably can't see it, but when you're looking at it from here, you can definitely tell. And so you have the dividers that can pop out, just like the broken token insert. So you can pull those out and adjust how you want to store your cards. So you are given this framework, and you can organize it however you would like. I love that. That is very handy so that you can choose how you want to organize your cards. And that is the same for the small cards and the large cards. You'll also notice that this it looks like there's a ton of space in here. This is actually storing the game that I'm almost finished with. I'm about 100 plays in, and so a lot of my cards are gone, but it does fit cards, and they all fit sleeved. They are a tight fit on the small ones. As you can see, I've got about this stack that are still not sleeved, so it's a very tight fit, but they do fit. And, you know, they just slide around. There's tons of space on the large card holder. Not quite as much space on the small one, but everything fits, so you really don't have a problem with that. I love the trays that you've got. This is really nice when you're actually playing the game. So you've got your damage tokens, you've got your coins, everything there already set up. You've got all of your conditions, and all of the conditions are labeled in case you're newer to the game or you don't remember exactly, oh, I don't remember which one is stun. Well, you can look on here, it says stun token. Boom, you pull it out. And for me, I tend to toss things around when I'm playing the game, so if I'm done with a token, I can just toss it over there, and of course I missed. But a lot of times it'll just fall right back in. So very, very handy. Also, with all of these tile trays, I guess you would call them, you get tile keys, which is brilliant. I mean, brilliant. Because when you go through here, if I'm trying to get a door and I'm having a hard time, I just put in the tile key, bam, I have all of them. And it's not hurting the cardboard. I'm not concerned about that. Everything is great. And on the labeling on these portions is that it has both sides. So this tells you there's a stone floor, and I think this is like a dirt floor. But it tells you both sides right on the label, so you can easily set this up. The setup time for Gloomhaven using this insert, as opposed to not using an insert, is astoundingly significant. It's so fast to be able to set up your game. You look up, you know, you pull out the map tiles, that always takes a little bit, but you go through and you say, oh, I need 6 poisons. Okay, bam, poison right here. I need so many dirt floors. And you can look and you can see exactly which tiles are going to have dirt floors, and you can easily get to them. Very, very handy. I will say I love the way that these monsters are stored. You know, every monster is labeled. I can easily see everything. And it's easy to get to. And, you know, if I want to pull out one, instead of pulling out... Usually when I go and play a game, if I see that we're going to use oozes, I will pull out all 10 oozes. But if I wanted to, I could just keep this handy, and I could pull out one at a time as I need them. That is super, super handy. I just really enjoy that. The bases are in this box. Keeps everything standard there. You can pull them out as you need them. You've got the monster stat sleeves and sheets, so you've got there. I guess there's a differing thickness between first and second editions. So there's actually a space if you want to put another divider in there to really separate the holders for the cards and the cards themselves. You can do that. I elected to not have mine out because I guess the second edition takes up more space. I could, looking at it easily, have fit that divider in if I wanted to. I just decided not to push it. So let me talk about probably something that I really like, but is also very concerning depending on how you like to set up your game. So Gloomhaven obviously is a legacy style game where certain things are locked at the beginning of the game that you won't be able to access, and there's tons of characters that you will be able to open throughout the game. So that brings me to how Go7 Gaming stores their characters. And like I said, depending on what your view is, you could see this as really cool and a great solution, or kind of a, oh, and it just depends on what your personal thoughts and feelings are. So each character in the Go7 Gaming insert has its own box, which by itself I love because it makes it really easy to store your character. You've got a little box right here where you can see the symbol of the character. So you can look through and look at me like, oh yeah, Craighart. Okay, that's me. You just open up the lid, and I pulled the card out. But first thing is you've got your character right there. Bam. So you pull the card out, and then in here, you've got your deck. You've got your attack modifier deck, and there is room to hold your attack modifier deck and your items in here, so you can actually store your character while you're playing it, which is really good. You've got a little hole right there where your mini actually drops in, and he's got 2 different sized holes, because I guess the minis from the first edition are different from the second edition as far as size goes. So he's got space for both minis, and then a little pocket right in here to be able to hold the tokens for the character. So this by itself, I love it. This is the best way to be able to store a character. It holds sleeve cards. It holds unsleeved cards. It holds your mini in here. It holds your people. Oh, I love it. And Go7 Gaming has devoted a ton of space in that box specifically for these characters. So it was a very intentional choice to be able to take up a lot of space to make these boxes work. And they work great. So here's where the downside is. There's no room for the paper boxes. So if you have not unlocked a character yet, if you want to put it in, you either have to find somebody who's not going to play the game and ask them and say, hey, this is what it should look like. Can you do this for me? Take them out of the paper boxes and then put them in here. Or you have to do it yourself and then you end up spoiling the character. So I'm kind of torn. I really love the solution. But it also, in a way, it could spoil future games. Even though I'm super close to the end, there are still about 4 characters that I have not unlocked. And so I am going to keep this insert, and this insert is going to be for my game because I love the way that everything sets up really well. But I will probably have my wife do those because I don't want to spoil the character. And so it depends on what your thoughts and feelings are. I love the way that it stores the character, and I think it's a brilliant solution. But it's just, with the nature of how Gloomhaven is, it might be a disappointment to you. I don't know. I was kind of torn on it. What I eventually came down to was I like it. And I've unlocked so many characters that now, even if I play with someone who has not played, I can keep my game, and all they'll see is the symbol, which is not really a spoiler. So I like it, but you get to make your own decision. Last thing I want to talk about, these character pads. So the box itself is not quite big enough to hold the piece of paper not folded. So if you want, you can fold it, or all the character pads actually are taken out. That's why this is face down, so it's not spoiling anything, but you keep your party sheet in here as well. And you just have them in this little pad, which is interesting. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't have thought of that, so it just kind of surprised me. I do like that the summons have their own tray. That's kind of cool. I love that everything's labeled. Things are easy to get to. It looks well. It's super sturdy. The wood that Go7 Gaming uses, it seems like it's thicker than a lot of other inserts use, but because it's like a mashup of different woods, it's not just a single piece of wood. From what I've seen, it actually makes it sturdier. Obviously you have to use glue, otherwise things are not. Just know that when you build this, you have to use glue. If you don't, things are going to fall apart. But it actually makes it easier because it feels looser when you're putting it together, but once you glue it, it stays very strong. And I'm just giving an example. These lids, I'm putting a significant amount of force in there without actively trying to break it, and it's not having much give. Whereas some of the other inserts, if I would be terrified to do that too, just because some of the wood is so thin, where it being one piece, it seems could easily snap. I'm not worried about that at all with the Go7 Gaming. So when it comes down to it, insert's about $100. It's well worth it. This tray is, I think, $8 or $9. If you like that, like I said, I store mine in an envelope, and I find that's much easier and faster. But that's, the insert, Go7 Gaming is just working with what they have. They're not going to provide you a folder. They're trying to fit everything in the box. I've just found it's worth it to put it out of the box for that. I love this insert. I think it's fantastic. If you're looking for a good insert for Gloomhaven, you're not going to go wrong with going with Go7. I am continually impressed by the products that they put out. They're putting out really, really quality stuff. Keep an eye out if you want to see how this insert stacks up against its competitors. I am actually coming out with a video very shortly that is going to compare Daedalus Productions, Broken Token, Go7 Gaming, Folded Space, and Meeple Realty. And we'll see who comes out on top. Do you think it'll be this one, or will it be someone else? Take a look and find out. It'll be up on my YouTube channel shortly. I'm Sam. This is Sam Says. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button wherever it is. Check me out here on my YouTube channel as well as on Instagram. I am Sam Says Game Reviews. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and game on.